YouTube, what's good, family? It's MasoMoney back with another video. So they're saying that Bayzoo, who is Lil Durk's, one of Lil Durk's top homies, top hitman, top rappers, top clappers, all of the above. He was doing all that. And they're saying that he was also a part of the beef with THF and Lil Zay and Lil Deuce. You know, we've seen about that through Chicago.
Ever since Lil Durk has been locked up in the feds, his closest friends have been left out in the streets, exposed, getting shot left and right. Now the latest example apparently ending in tragedy. We got some absolutely crazy news coming out of the west side of Chicago, where Durk's right-hand man, THF Bayzoo, was reportedly shot and killed in a broad day ambush.
Out of Little Village, 3 men are in the hospital after a shooting. This happened around 3 this afternoon near 31st and St. Louis.
Apparently at first, reports were coming out of the city that Zoo was still alive after apparently taking multiple rifle rounds to the chest. However, judging by the fact that this morning, many of his closest friends have been posting tributes, it seems like THF Bayzoo is officially dead. This is coming off a well-known THF member just last year getting gunned down in an area pretty far from their home, also in the west side of Chicago. As always, this shooting has come with much speculation, but it's hard not to see the blatant gang war happening in front of our eyes between two groups that have been very vocal online. THF's apparent most vocal op, Lil Zay Osama, has publicly implied that he's been putting belt to ass on THF after a well-documented incident of him getting his watches stolen by this gang.
So this not
2 watches got stolen. About 5 lives got took. Y'all, how y'all ass win red again?
Okay, they gonna wear, yeah, nah, this time they gonna wear black. We gonna turn their ass to red.
While bodies have been dropped on THF's side, he recently lost a friend on this ongoing gang war, which has many people believing that is directly connected to the shooting that took out THF Bayzoo. It also doesn't help that in his No Jumper interview recently and on IG, he was pretty much implying that 10 bodies were dropped on him getting new watches for that whole incident. So today we got to get into the crazy gang war that could be responsible for the shooting right now. But before we get into it, I'm gonna need you to like, comment, subscribe. We're gonna get into this video right now. Hit that notification bell and make sure you tap into the merch link in the description at staysafeworld.com and hit that hype button, man. We're gonna get into it right now with chapter 1. Let's go. Several gangs within the South Side are known to have been beefing for years. This most recent war, though, has taken a life of its own, showing how people will literally crash out and die after threatening people on IG like it's nothing. This death is like the latest on the chain of death and violence that's been going on for months. But to even understand how things got to this point, you gotta start from the jump and understand the web of gang alliances that has people really willing to murk someone in a constant tick for tat. THF Bayzoo is a member of THF, aka Trigger Happy Family, a hybrid gang out of the Woodlawn area on the south side of Chicago, mainly from 46th to Woodlawn and 44th and Wells. They're mostly made up of Black Disciples and Mickey Cobras. The 46th set is predominantly BD and has strong historical ties to other sets like O Block, 600, and 300 Lamron, where he has gotten close ties and is basically the right-hand man of Lil Durk. This tight connection also extends to 600. Unfortunately, their close ties plays an extreme role in exactly how he might have gotten murdered because of an ongoing situation with another gang in the area and another artist by the name of Lil Zay Osama. Lil Zay Osama is also from the South Side but repping 6300. However, he has close ties to Lil Durk after being signed to OTF.
So this all started because Lil Durk brought a bunch of people from different blocks that he had love for and then brought them together like they not super slimy. Like, everybody know your homie slimy because you slimy, right? And then you bringing a whole bunch of different groups of street dudes together. There you go. How many he say? 10 bodies? Oh no. They say death coming 2s. That shit coming in 10s around this way.
Lil Durk was still free. Unfortunately, there was a crazy incident that happened several years ago where his watches were stolen in a high-profile incident right before Lil Zay Osama went to jail for a switch that many people tie directly into a beef that caused a war between both 600 and THF versus Lil Zay Osama, which we're going to get into in this next chapter, chapter 2.
Okay, what happened next?
There was a point when all of these sides were cool. However, everything took a turn for the worse when a video shoot apparently went wrong. Lil Zay Osama would actually go into detail in a No Jumper interview talking about an incident where he had a video shoot and invited a bunch of people from a group chat that were associated with OTF. That somehow got him associated with people from THF who pulled up. Apparently, somewhere in the night while he was sleeping, members of THF stole his watches, and that caused a whole domino effect with bodies dropping on both sides.
The situation with the watches, right? I'm about to bring that up.
How crazy it is though that people are dying. This man going on No Jumper, proven federal platform, and making sure to explain the situation as the leader of the gang. Where do we do this at, bro? This don't even make no sense.
Right? Yeah. All right, so look, they be saying that some THF niggas took your shit and then, they took one of your homies' watches and shit, and that's why you kind of fell out with OTF.
I never fell out with OTF. You get what I'm saying? This was the situation. The situation was we had an OTF chat, like where we all talking shit.
A group chat.
Where we pull up the video, each other video shoots and all this extra shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I hit the chat. I'm like, pull up to the video shoot. I'm in the rack. You feel me? Motherfucker, pull up to the video shoot. But like I'm telling you, it was niggas in this group chat outside of OTF, like these other different blocks. So 2 niggas from down there pulled up to the video shoot. I never had no problem with them, no bad vibes with them. So they come to the video shoot, we kicking it. Video shoot over, I leave. I go to my hotel room. Mind you, I get off the liquor, I'm drunk as now. You feel me? I'm in the hotel room, I go in the room, I fall asleep. You know what I'm saying? Every night I take my watches off before I take my chains off. You feel what I'm saying? Cause I always take my watches off and put on the table because I be sleeping like this, or I use my hands to sleep. You feel me? So I took my watches off, both of them, and put them on the front room table. You feel me? I wake up the next morning, bro, like 7 in the morning, bro. My shit gone. You hear me? Now I'm thinking back on last night. They came in the room and wake me up. Cause we was buying something from them too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So bro, I get them the money for the shit while I'm kinda like sleep. You know what I'm saying? I get them the money and I fall back to sleep. I wake up, the shit gone from in the front room off the table. I'm flipping the whole room. Trying to see where everything at. Mind you, my cameraman was here and my homie was here.
Yeah.
You feel me? But them niggas was so slick. Bro them didn't even see them take it off the table. You get what I'm saying? Bro them probably thinking I still got my watches on or something. So now I'm calling these niggas. They merching on every dead homie in the book that they didn't take it, they didn't got it, they don't know what I'm talking about. I need to check my homies. They probably still, I said, bro, none of my homies would ever play with me, bro. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Ever. So now these niggas telling Smirk and them like, on woo, we ain't got to merchant on all they dead homies. You know what I'm saying? When you merch on your dead homies, you got to be for real.
So directly after this interview, he would basically go on live multiple times talking about how bodies were dropped after this incident. And he would actually go on live with his homie, which we're going to talk about later, Lil Deuce, saying that they were paint any person red that had to do with this whole incident.
All that went red again.
Fuck it, they gonna wear, this time they gonna wear black. We gonna turn their ass to red.
Today it's a new nigga outside coming out of snitch. So what that make y'all? The rest of you is snitches too. You hear me? Facts. I'm out the way. Making music, getting money, just signed my new deal. But look though, this was before the deal. I swear to God. 2 watches got stole. About 5 lives got took.
Well, unfortunately, there would be multiple bodies that many people now realize could have been exactly connected to this whole incident. And we're going to get into it into the next chapter because there would be some crazy high-profile incidents and killings on both sides. Let's get into it in chapter 3.
Oh, bad.
In 2024, a tragic video would go viral of another THF member named THFTP getting gunned down in front of his wife and daughter, also in the west side of Chicago. On the night of Wednesday, February 7th, 2024, At approximately 6:41 p.m., Chicago PD would swiftly respond to a ShotSpotter alert and distress calls reporting a person shot at the intersection of Madison and Long on the west side. Upon arrival, law enforcement discovered Terrence, aka 30-year-old Chicago rapper THF TP, lying on the ground, having sustained at least 7 gunshot wounds to the torso. Urgently, he was transported to Loyola Hospital, where medical efforts proved futile and he was pronounced deceased. Since then, video footage basically came out of people pulling up to him while he was holding his daughter's school project, and he was unfortunately switched down in a crazy incident. Well, just later in the timeline, Lil Zay Osama would be talking about bodies that dropped for his watches. People would look back at that incident and think that he had something to do with it. Although it looked like they were definitely putting BTA on a bunch of people associated with those who stole his watches, retaliation would come back in the form of a shooting literally just a couple weeks ago with his homie, which has many people thinking that Lil Zay Osama was sacrificing his own members, you see, because Lil Zay Osama is not in Chicago right now. He's in LA, but other people who are around him are the ones that are unfortunately going to get caught up in this gang violence. And that's exactly what people thought when the shooting of DMG Lil Deuce. If you don't know, DMG Lil Deuce was the homie that he was on live with saying that they were gonna paint the city red. Unfortunately, he was gunned down in a separate incident just a couple weeks ago that we actually covered on this channel, which is the latest retaliation. And that has many people believing that it could resulted in the incident that happened just yesterday, which we're gonna get into in chapter 4. Let's get into it.
So I think even to break down what happened in the situation.
Little Village, 3 men are in the hospital after a shooting. This happened around 3 this afternoon near 31st and St. Louis. Police say those victims were standing in a parking lot when a car drove up and someone inside started firing. One of the men was taken to the hospital in critical condition. The other 2 are expected to survive. So far, no one is in custody.
Apparently, rumors are going around yesterday that THF Bayzoo pulled up to the west side to an auto store to do some car repair. 3 men were in the parking lot at about 3 p.m. Saturday in the 3100 block of South St. Louis Avenue, one of which was him, when someone in a car pulled up and an occupant fired shots, police said. One man was in critical condition. That was THF Bayzoo, and apparently he died. The other 2 men are apparently in stable condition. The 35-year-old man, aka THF Bayzoo, was shot multiple times in the torso and taken in critical condition to Mount Sinai Hospital. There were reports that shells behind left evidence of rifle rounds, which many people showed that was not a good sign. And
so they pulled up on him with real life big heavy Draco AR, like them type of guns, like them Call of Duty weapons. I don't know why y'all be having Call of Duty weapons. So they got up on him with those. But bro, he's 35, walk around Chicago, one of the biggest names in Chicago, and you're a gangster. Bro, he should have been moved, like they were saying with Dirk. At least with Dirk, he was on the move, because to be sitting around in Chicago and you knowing he's so much older than people. 35. He probably don't even know all the people he got problems with. You know what I mean? You know how old 35 is in Chicago? You better put this in dog years. That's like 60.
It looks like it was a terrible sign because he was not able to make it, with many condolences posters basically being put out. Man,